Welcome to Click to Learn More, the show that sounds like clickbait. But
it's actually two dorks.
I'm Dorm.
I'm Liddy.
Today, Liddy.
Today, Dorm.
It is the 21st episode of this podcast.
It can drink. Cheers.
Yay. I didn't even know to make that joke.
Yeah. There you go. Friends at home.
And you know what 21 is? Blackjack. You know what blackjack is? Cards. What's something that people do a lot with cards? Magic. Who's the most famous magician of all time?
David Blaine.
Harry Houdini. I said, sorry, Chris Angel. In my...
I was going to say Chris Angel.
Yeah, I thought that might be where you go. We're talking about Harry Houdini today.
Awesome.
Harold Houdini.
Harold Houdini.
First, we're going to start with my love for magic.
Ooh.
I've said on a previous episode that middle school dorm was very much into magic.
Yes,
specifically, I loved card magic. So we lived pretty close to our local library. So I would walk down there or wait for the bookmobile.
I remember the bookmobile.
The bookmobile is fantastic.
I'm imagining you, by the way, in a little magician's cape and a little hat, and with a little
like
wand.
Little Secret Society Justin, kind of.
Yes, with like a little wand.
Oh, your mic is slumping.
I just got so droopy. Pardon me. Oh God, sorry. I've had too much whiskey. I swear this never happens.
It's whiskey, Mike.
I swear this never happens. I'm imagining you with a little top hat, little cape, and you just got like a little wand.
Yeah, like the black and white classic wand.
Yeah. And if you hit a button a certain way, a fake little bird pops out of it and sits on it. That's what and you just show up and you're like,
God, if anyone can do fan art,
and you just do it. I'm just a little chibi. You would be so cute, and you do it, and the lady behind the bookmobile is like, more magic, more magic today.
No, actually, I want I Spy. That was the other book I always went after.
I want the Bible. Joke's on you, Karen.
We live in small town Kentucky. Every house has a Bible.
That's true.
But I loved magic, and I would walk to the library, and I used to get drawing books and magic books, and those were my two things. The internet existed, by the way. This wasn't like not having the internet. I just liked books a lot, and I liked like feeling books and stuff. So
oh my God, the sensation of actually holding a book is something that's lost on us now.
And it was free, so I could do all I wanted. I was a book Larson. No, specifically, I love the smaller, more intimate stuff like sleight of hand or card magic.
Okay.
And that's still true today. I actually love watching YouTube videos of sleight of hand magic.
Oh, it makes me mad.
It is such an art form within itself. It's like, oh snap, oh goodness. This is the day the chair goes.
You're just about to see some sleight of hand when I fall on this floor.
It's just really impressive. I also love Penn and Teller's Fool Us.
That's cool. I do like that
which
show.
Which is a great show, especially when it's like a card magician or something.
It doesn't make me feel bad if they fool him, see? Like, if they fool Penn and Teller, then I'm like, I don't feel so bad that I got fooled.
The thing I love about Fool Us, too, is like when it's always really fun watching them tell the magician they know without revealing anything. Because it's like, oh, well, the way you used your corn cob is like, and like, oh, well, they've got me. And it's like, what? What does that even mean?
Yeah, it's like, what are you talking about? But they are secretly.
The code of magicians is very fun to watch from a distance. The sleight of hand magic is much quicker, less extravagant, more grounded for magic, if you will. This is something that we've discovered I love is the more grounded stuff, even in magic.
Yep.
I'm like, I want the realistic stuff.
Some science behind it.
I also think I'm oddly attracted to turn of the century history. I was telling you this before we started filming. Something about that time is so fascinating to me because it feels so distant, but is still comparable to today's society. I feel like that's about as far as you can get without it feeling like a different time period altogether.
A different era.
Yeah. Today's sources, there are a lot of them. There's the Great Harry Houdini website, which is, as far as I know, the closest thing to an official website for Houdini.
Okay.
It wasn't like... It was copyrighted to The Great Harry Houdini, but that was like its own thing, so I didn't know if that was
so his family doesn't have one up?
No, there's no like...
Interesting.
So I don't know what exactly that is. There is a Harry Houdini museum, and they were linking to each other, so I don't know if...
Where is that at?
It is in Appleton, Wisconsin.
Cool.
That's where I found that one. Cool. Britannica biography. American Decades, which is something I'd never heard of. It's just a... Wikipedia sources it a lot, actually. That's how I found it. But but it's just a series of, this is a sort of an academic report on these certain people to have a source to reference.
Only released every 10 years.
Yeah, of course. And then John Cox's The Life of Houdini, which was posted on a blog site, but John Cox is a Houdini historian. So
you can be a Houdini historian?
I guess. I don't know if that's self-proclaimed or what, but I referenced that a little bit more sparingly because I didn't know.
That's fair, because you can be a ripperologist.
Sure.
So why couldn't you be
And good old Wikipedia. I tried to stay away from Wikipedia as much as I can, but it's good to get sources from.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Harry Houdini wasn't born a Harry or a Houdini. Eric Weiss, or Weiss, I'm not sure, was born in Budapest, in Hungary, on March 24th, 1874, 16 days after Millard Fillmore died. To Cecilia Steiner, no relation to Scott, and Mayor Samuel Weiss, I'm going to say Weiss because that's how you say it in German, who is a rabbi by trade that also happened to dabble in soap making. It's a random fact, but it made me laugh, so there you go.
So Weiss in German is white.
Yes.
So I wonder if it translates in the same way. So his name would have just been Eric White.
Yeah.
Which is...
the blamest name ever.
Who is that?
Yeah.
That's your neighbor. That's nobody.
That's my accountant, Eric White. That's the guy who sold me my house.
Yeah.
That's Eric.
Yeah. Sold me my car.
In 1876, the Weiss family, then spelled Weisz,
interesting. Okay.
family immigrated to Appleton, Wisconsin. That's why the museum's there. About an hour and a half outside of Milwaukee in pursuit of the American dream. When they found out Dusty Rhodes hadn't been born yet, they decided to stay in the States.
Okay, at least one an episode.
Yep.
All right.
There were two wrestling references already.
Okay.
Once in Wisconsin, Mayor Weiss, Weiss now. So when he got a job as a rabbi, he changed it to the German spelling because he figured that was more trustworthy. In a pre-World War II era, that made sense. Or even pre-World War I, guess. But
smart. And also, like, I wouldn't have even considered that one letter, right? So a Z instead of an S.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that would change anything, but wow.
They also changed Eric's spelling, so it was EHRICH, and now it's EHRIK. Again, the more German spelling.
Okay.
But they're all pronounced Eric, I looked. To see it, once in Wisconsin, Mayor Weiss, who is the dad, not a mayor, which is weird. It's spelled like John Mayer, not like the position.
Oh.
Mayor Weiss took young Eric to see a touring magician named Dr. Lin, who used a butcher knife to cut off the appendages, callback, of his assistant in a cabinet. Lil Houdini was instantly mesmerized.
And also ready to chop off some fingers and toes.
Well, that would have been... This is... If you took DormStreams to this show, I'd be like, cool magic, and she'd be like, cool murder.
There's two types of people in this world.
Yeah, exactly.
We're both of them.
A fun little random fact. When he was 9, Eric performed in a trapeze show as Eric, the Prince of Air.
No,
which is awesome.
That's great.
I wish they called him Eric.
The Prince of Eric.
Yeah, like Eric, yeah.
Yeah.
At 12... What?
Like Eric.
Yeah, no, Eric. Do you get it?
Do you get it?
Air.
It's like air. Like I'm in the air.
Like Eric.
Like air?
But also his name Eric?
Get it?
Eric.
You get it.
At 12, Eric ran away. AIRICH. What?
We just talked about him like being in the circus and joining the circus and then he ran away.
Well, yeah. Well,
That's
what do you
sad.
do? That's what all carny kids do. At 12, Eric ran away. His family, struggling to stay afloat, was in need of more money, so Eric took it upon himself to get a job. When he came back home, he said to his greeting mother, "Shake me, I'm magic." As she shook...
That's how I greet everybody.
Shake me, I'm magic.
Shake me, I'm magic.
As she shook him, coins flew out of his clothing, and he performed his first magic trick.
That's adorable.
Yeah, so he went and got a job,
really
worked
cute.
for his family,
That's
built up
cute.
some money, and then
he
said, "Mom, shake me, I'm magic."
And he wanted to be harassed by someone.
Yeah, by his mother.
Yeah. Assaulted.
Like a peanut.
It's my favorite joke.
Thanks. As I came up with it myself. As Eric kept working to support his family, his interest in magic remained. He would work jobs during the day and read about magic at night. 2 books set the course for the man we now know as Houdini. Revelations of a Spirit Medium, written by an anonymous author who credited themselves as a medium.
That's
a medium.
phenomenal.
Awesome.
That's
so good.
Phenomenal.
And the memoirs of Robert Houdin, an autobiography by a leading French magician by a leading French magician named Jean-Eugène Robert Houdin. I'm assuming that's how you say his name.
So he was Houdini, like a little version of...
Yes, correct.
Aww.
I'm gonna say Robert Houdin. I think that's how you say it in French, but I'm not sure. Was a legendary figure of magic, considered the father of conjuring.
Conjuring.
So conjuring was not your normal sleight of hand magic. It was grander. It was like, I can have my assistant on stage. I can have people from the audience hand my assistant on stage something, and I can tell you through our spirits of our mind what that object is while blindfolded. Yeah, a little bit, right.
The Prestige.
Yeah, which I thought of the Prestige a bunch while doing this, obviously. My favorite Robert Houdin trick is the light and heavy box.
Okay.
This is awesome. So the only reason I know about this is because Penn and Teller did it.
Ooh.
A more recent version. So what it is there's a box, I would say about the size of this table, like a 3x3x3 cardboard or wooden pallet box.
Okay.
And the trick is I figured out a way to revolutionize, transportation in, whatever industry or whatever. It's all just talking. And they're like, young man, and they call a kid up to stage. And it's like, will you come lift this box? And so sure enough, he comes up, lifts the box, puts it back down.
Okay.
And it's now, they pick the strongest looking guy in the audience. Comes up, he can't lift the box.
He can't lift it. Okay.
So the whole idea of it is there are a couple of different ways to do it. This was actually built on the electromagnetic capabilities. So basically they would turn on a lever that picked up a weight inside the box that was either attached to Robert Houdin's thigh or the stage next to it or something.
Of course you like the science one.
Yeah, so it would pick up the magnet, and so you could pick up the box easily.
Right.
Then when you release the magnet, it would drop, be too heavy to lift. Now there's another version of it where it's actually the magician's leg.
Oh.
So the magician is standing, and then they're fake feet underneath the pallet.
Oh.
And so he's standing almost like an L shape, I guess. And he can put his foot down and have a magnet in his shoe and keep it down so the person can't lift it. And then when he wants somebody to lift it, he just lifts his leg. And they pull it back up. I love that trick. I think it's so cool. I just wanted a reason to talk about it.
That's fantastic.
Has nothing to do with Houdini. I just like that trick a lot. Well, I guess it does because Robert Houdin created it. He is legendary. If you go to his Wikipedia page, there is a mile-long list of tricks he created or
on his
co-founded.
Own.
Yeah.
That are still being used today?
Yes, yeah.
Ooh.
A lot of magic today plays on magic before. Magic is a very self-perpetuating thing. So, the reason Penn and Teller's Fool Us works so well sometimes is that they can sort of see this is a new take on an old trick that they may know about. So a lot of the things in magic, there isn't a lot of new technology in magic. A lot of it's the same kind of idea.
Mm-hmm.
So if you read about a lot of sleight of hand magic, it'll be do a palm grab or a palm hold or something.
Okay.
Or palm the card or whatever. And palming a card is the same thing that it's been for 200 years.
Right.
But it's, how do you use that and how do you integrate
how you use it in the illusion.
Yes, in the illusion. Eric's father thought Houdini's pursuit in magic was a waste of time and often fought him on pursuing it as a professional means.
Aww.
This is the guy who was a rabbi and a soap maker. Just want to point that out.
Yeah, come on. Let people enjoy things.
Mayor Weiss died when Eric was 16, and that left him free to pursue a life in magic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just F you, Dad.
Yeah, I'm going to go do magic now.
I'm going to go do all the magic.
So you may be asking yourself, how did Eric Weiss become Harry Houdini?
How did Eric Weiss become Harry Houdini?
See, I didn't do the I'll tell you.
I know, I kept waiting for you to do it.
I actually wrote, I'll tell you, or don't cut Liddy off, your call.
I fully expected you to cut me off, so I kind of paused partway through, he's not going to do it. I have to recall everything he said.
Houdini's pretty obvious, as he simply added in the letter I to Udan to make him Little Udan. Harry was after Harry Keller, an American magician doomed the dean of American magicians, known for his elaborate stage performances.
Cool.
So Houdini always had this. The strange thing with Houdini, and we'll get there, I guess, is that he always loved these sort of grandiose magicians.
Oh.
Even when he was doing sort of smaller personal magic, which is a fun phrase, person-to-person magic, street magic is what most people refer to it as now. He was still kind of thinking of how do I get bigger, how do I get better, and that's something that there's actually.
So his stage name came from two other magicians' names.
Yes, that would be cool. That would be like me naming myself David Angel or Chris Blaine now as a magician.
Yeah.
I thought that idea was really funny.
Illusion freak.
Yes, perfect. Houdini pursued one of the most common early pursuits for magicians, card magic, and I just roared from the crowd. He named himself the King of Cards.
He did?
Yes, he gave himself that name, and traveled with that for a while before introducing handcuffs in the act. These performances range from amusement parks to dime museums, which is just a museum you paid a dime to get into, and beer halls, and even a show at the 1893 Chicago's World Fair.
Hey!
Yeah. Hopefully the HH and HH Holmes wasn't meant to stand for Harry Houdini. Houdini performed with his younger brother Theo as an assistant, and they refer to themselves as the Houdini brothers.
Houdini brothers, okay.
In 1893, he married another road performer who would go on to be his lifelong stage assistant. Wilhelmina Beatrice Ronner, who would henceforth replace Theo as Beatrice Bess Houdini. She's known as Bess now.
The best Houdini.
Yes. In 1899, Houdini's renowned magical skills caught the ear of Martin Beck. Not the musician Beck.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
A manager who quickly got him booked in popular vaudevilles, because a vaudeville was a place at one point, and clubs around the nation. Not back then, I read that as back then, but it was just Beck then, and those words look similar. Beck then booked Houdini on a trip around Europe. So some of his tricks at this time that were in his repertoire: manipulating cards, escaping handcuffs, changing the color of handkerchiefs by pushing them through a tube.
Okay.
Which I think sounds awesome. Yanking 2 knotted pieces of braid through his neck.
What? What?
Yeah, he's a bit of an absurdist magician. And shooting an audience member's watch to the center of a target. So he was
just going to be shooting an audience member.
Yeah, well, again, you aren't directing the show.
That's true.
I thought that was interesting because it's like, he was kind of, if you're familiar with magic, he was kind of like pulling from each principle.
Yeah.
Like he was just kind of doing each discipline of magic as he pleased. And this was kind of unknown at the time. Normally you, like the guy who was really into conjuring or the guy who was really into stage magic, you usually kind of specialized in magic, and that's still sort of the case. Like David Copperfield is a stage magician, David Blaine is a street magician, mostly cards.
Chris Angel's
a mind freak. That's sort of the spectrum. You usually go after one thing and do it really, really well.
Stay in your lane, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. But this was sort of unheard of at the time, that he was like, well, I love magic so much, I'm just going to stay ahead of the curve and do everything.
That's kind of baller, though.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I love that. While in London, Houdini's star rose tremendously. He was so popular in Europe that he stayed there for 5 years.
Wow.
He then started involving local police.
In his act?
Who would strip search him, place him in shackles, and lock him in their jails.
And then he's going to break out.
And he escaped.
Of course.
It'd be funny and that was it.
And that was it.
He stayed in jail the rest of his life.
And then he died.
He quickly became the highest paid performer in all vaudevillian personas or interests, or however you want to put it.
For sure.
Houdini was emphatic about staying one step ahead and upping the ante. When asked about his rise to stardom, he said, this is a phenomenal quote.
Okay.
No performer should sorry, I'm going to start over because it's so good. No performer should attempt to bite off red-hot iron unless he has a good set of teeth.
Wow.
Which I think is awesome. Like, if you're going to go for it, you better be freaking ready.
And you better do it correctly.
Yeah, I loved that quote. I thought that was awesome.
That's really cool.
In 1912, Houdini debuted what many people consider to be the height of his magical prowess, the Chinese water torture cell.
Yes.
So, this excerpt is pulled right from American Decades. It's really hard to accurately surmise what a trick is without just looking at it. So I just pulled this because it did a better job than me just trying to write about what this was. Houdini's Chinese torture cell was made of mahogany and looked like a large telephone booth. It's about the same size and shape. The front plate was a glass panel, and the cell held more than a ton of water.
Wow.
Houdini was lowered into the cell upside down, and his ankles were locked with scissor-like stocks. The Chinese torture cell escape was an important part of Houdini's act for 15 years. Quote, Houdini created such an escape with the Chinese water torture cell, and it was to remain a regular feature of his program for the duration of his career, which was super rare. Houdini really never kept the same stuff in his act longer than 2 or 3 years.
So was that the draw to his
part
show?
Of it, yeah.
Was that like the thing you come to see?
That was the thing that like made him an enormous superstar. Okay. So the way the water cell works I know it's kind of a thing of like, magicians don't tell secrets or whatever. I think this one's so common knowledge that it's not that big a deal. Just like Penn and Teller do this all the time, right? Where they're like, they say magicians shouldn't tell the secret of a trick, and then they tell the secret of a trick, and it's like, I can still fool you after the fact with the way we've inverted it or whatever.
Remember the show where the magician, like, went and showed how they did everything? Like, showed all of that stuff?
The dude with the black face mask and the white paint.
And then they, like, revealed who he was, and everybody was like, who?
Yeah, nobody knew who he was.
Who's this man?
Yeah.
And he was
just some guy.
He was like some great magician that nobody knew who he was.
Yeah, he has like zebra face paint. And he just wore like a black cloak. You
were talking about the water torture, the water chamber. There's a Gwen Stefani video, and I don't remember if it's Great Escape. She's got a song called Great Escape, which would make sense, or it's her first song from her first album or second. I don't care. Anyways, and she's in a straitjacket trying to get loose, and she's underwater, like, trying to get loose, and it was based on Houdini, which is how I know the one fact that I told you about Houdini earlier that I know.
So there are a couple of different approaches to this. Do you want to share the one that you know?
The one that I know about how Houdini got out of the straitjacket was that before he went on, he would always kiss his wife for good luck, and she would always pass him a key through her mouth into his mouth. And then that's how he would get loose, is he would be able to, like, do. And it's also a joke in The Office. In The Office, he's got a key in his mouth, and he's got a straitjacket, and he's talking, and it pops out of his mouth, and Jim puts his foot on the key and pulls it, and he's like, I can still get out of here, I'm fine. And it's like, but if anybody sees a little key, just let me know. And then he ends up in it for the rest of the day.
That's funny. That's really funny, because Modern Family actually goofed on Houdini as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, Phil wants his son to be, like, the next Houdini. And he just, like, loves magic, and they puts him in a straitjacket. Oh, God. And, like, he gets, like, the kid is just really mad about it, like, does not want to do it.
Yeah.
And Phil, the whole episode, is, like, trying to practice how you get out of a straitjacket, because you, like, lower your shoulder and do this whole thing.
Yeah.
And he can't get out of it, like, the whole episode. And then he puts it on the kid, and the kid, like, immediately gets out of it, and he's like, I don't want to he was like, if you can get out of this straitjacket, then you don't have to become a magician.
Yeah.
And he does it, like, immediately and throws the jacket at him. He's like, damn it, he was so good! Like, that's just the payoff of the whole thing. Which I think is great. But anyway, the water torture cell.
Yes.
So another way it works. So when you're lowered down, you have handcuffs on, and you are lowered into a tank of water. The water is real. And you have to hold your breath for about 30 seconds.
Okay.
It seems closer to, like, 3 minutes.
Just because of him like, struggling and, like, fighting and stuff.
Yeah, but it's 30 seconds. And then there are a couple different variations. One is that, and then he just sort of, like, swims to the top, comes out through. There's another variant that I don't know if Houdini himself performed, but I've seen other people perform, because there's no video of Houdini doing it. But people call it the Houdini water torture cell. Yeah. So, where a cloth is lowered in front of the thing.
Yeah.
And so the handcuffs are just rigged, so you can just break them open. And then you see the assistants put locks on hinges on the top of the cage.
Yeah.
But what you don't see is them pull the pins out of the hinges themselves. So the lock stays on, but the hinges aren't acting. So you can just open the hinges. There's just like a bar built in. You can pop up and then wait. And then you can pop up, get your breath, go back down. They raise the thing enough to see, like, oh, I'm struggling.
Yeah. And then you
they
break
drop
it
again, and then you just pop back up.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. I think the whole fun of magic is learning how it works. I think everybody's like, well, how'd you do it? How'd you do it?
Yeah.
But I think tricks are more impressive once I know how they're done.
Ooh, okay.
I appreciate oh shit, that's how they did that. I would never have thought of that.
I want to know how it's done, because I don't like being beat. Like, I don't like not knowing something. So if something happens and I think, that's super cool, how'd you do it? And they're like, I'm not going to tell you. That just makes me annoyed. That just makes me mad. Yeah. No, I want to know, how'd you do it?
Right. So Houdini was, at this point in his career, was, like, extremely wealthy. Like, he was the Harry Houdini we know now.
Yeah.
So in 1909, so his wealth allowed him to pursue passions outside of magic as well. He purchased his first plane in 1909.
Wow.
And flew it frequently up until his death. He also starred...
He flew it?
Yes.
Himself? Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
He also starred in 5 silent films. Now, he wanted... Yeah.
He was a film star?
Yeah, he was just in movies.
That's kind of cool.
He's kind of one of those figures, kind of like The Rock, I guess.
Or like O.J. Simpson.
Where he got so big in some like LeBron's about to be, or Jordan.
Yeah.
Where he got so big in some discipline that they're like, we got to put you in pictures, kid. Like, it was that sort of thing. Yeah. That's how everyone talked back then, by the way. Everyone talked kind of like Bugs Bunny. But he wanted, one of his pursuits, he wanted to be the first man to fly a flight across all of Australia.
That's an interesting
Yeah, I guess because it's the shortest
distinction.
country, like the smallest continent.
Yeah.
So he almost did it. He was second by about 2 months. And he had tried it before this guy, like some colonel or something.
Mm-hmm.
And people falsely attribute like him doing it to him all the time.
Oh.
But it wasn't. It was this other guy. He attempted it first, but the other guy completed it before he did.
Imagine if they could see life now. You know?
Yeah.
Like
planes
it's
aren't even that
it's
big
going
a
to be a 14-hour flight to take us from here to Australia or from here to Japan or whatever.
Yeah.
Imagine that now. When
Yeah.
we're just like, we hop on a commercial plane and we go.
Yeah,
it's no big deal.
Somebody else does the plane. We don't have to fly it ourselves.
Yeah, we don't have to do it. And it happens all the time.
Yeah, it's just nonstop. Offstage, Houdini became president of the Society of American Magicians, or SAM for short.
I like it.
That's actually what they call themselves. That's not me being goofy.
Are you part of SAM? You know I am.
And he was a vigorous campaigner against fraudulent psychics.
Yes.
This is awesome.
I love this.
Yeah,
I do know this little bit.
This is one of the best bits. So Houdini believed in tricking people with an actual trick as opposed to through phony psychic powers. He believed so much in this that he was even part of a Scientific American committee that offered a cash prize to any medium who could successfully demonstrate supernatural abilities.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, no one did.
Yep.
Most notably, he debunked renowned medium Mina Crandon, better known as Marjorie. Not a great stage name. Mina's a cooler name than Marjorie.
Yeah, that's really weird.
This act turned him against former friend Sir Arthur Conan Doyle,
Hey, my boy.
who believed deeply in spiritualism and Marjorie's sight. This is the strangest thing I read the whole time.
Okay.
Arthur Conan Doyle even thought in his later years that Houdini himself was a powerful medium. How else could he perform these tricks so well? And was using his extra medium, I made that word up, powers to block the power of lesser mediums through fake exposés.
That sounds like flawless logic. I don't know.
Not right,
I don't know
no.
why you're confused. He made Sherlock. He has to be correct.
My line was, the man who wrote Sherlock Holmes sure did look for his own twist, didn't he? That is like the most bonkers thing. It's like, dude, I'm telling you all these people aren't mediums. You know what? No. You're a medium. Like, it's just the most ridiculous counter logic.
This is like the murderer showing up covered in blood and somebody's like, you're the murderer. He's like, you're the murderer.
Yeah, like, oh.
It's like, what?
Maybe
No.
it was the cop. And he's like,
that
pulls a knife out of his back.
That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Stick to writing Sherlock. Well, he's dead now, but
Yeah.
like,
I was going to say the show?
we make this reference
Is he
a lot where we, at the end of it, have to go, well,
No,
they're
he's
dead now.
Yeah.
They're dead now, but
We, I don't think is accurate. Maybe just you.
maybe just me. I do speak of death.
It even takes... Here's a twist. Arthur Conan Doyle. I don't know how to, I can't say his name right. Arthur Conan Doyle. I keep saying Arthur Conan Doyle for some reason. I don't know why.
He just looks so sad at me when you said
I
that.
just can't say Arthur Conan Doyle.
Sir.
He would love. Yeah, well, he's dead now, so who cares?
What if you had gone, ma'am?
Oh, that would have been very good. It reminds me of the Andy Griffith show. There's an episode where he tells a couple that every day they have to say, what is it? It's like, hello, honey, and it's like, hello, darling. And they hate each other.
Oh.
So it's like, hi, honey. Hi,
Hi, darling.
darling. Like, it's so good. Despite his activism against spiritual charlatanism, which is a great
Ooh,
word,
I like that word.
Houdini and his wife did, in fact, experiment with otherworldly spiritualism when they decided that the first of them to die would try to communicate from beyond the grave with the survivor.
Yes.
Guess which part of Harry Houdini's life Liddy knew about?
The death part.
It's that one.
They had a room, I think, in their home.
Did they?
I think they had, and this is me without any prior, I haven't looked anything up about this, so I could be completely wrong. But I feel like they had a room where they would set up seances because he didn't believe in it. And he told her, if I want you to perform a seance, and if I speak to you, he had some code word. He had a specific word. Oh, you know it. Okay, go ahead. You know more. Yeah, you actually did research.
This is from Wikipedia. Before Houdini died, he and his wife agreed that if Houdini found it possible to communicate after death, he would communicate the message, Rosabelle believe. This is a secret code they had agreed to use years ago. Rosabelle was their favorite song.
Aw.
Bess held yearly seances on Halloween for 10 years after Houdini's death.
See, that's the problem. You did it on Halloween. All the spirits are out on Halloween. You can't do it on Halloween.
Get through.
Can't do it on Halloween.
No reception.
You got a busy signal.
It's like when you're at like a football or basketball stadium and you try to text somebody and it's like, this can't go out.
Can't do
too
it.
many people.
One of my favorite, this is going to be completely off topic,
Sure.
but one of my favorite things about Buffy was that during Halloween, the demons thought it was really boring and never came out. Like so that was the time when nothing bad would happen because they thought it was like really boring and really kitschy to do anything bad on Halloween.
It's like, that's really funny. I like that a lot. It's faux pas to do anything on Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay. So Bess held yearly seances on Halloween for 10 years after Houdini's death. She did claim to have contact through Arthur Ford in 1929 when Ford, who was a spiritualist, conveyed the secret code. So he said Rosabelle believed. But Bess later said the incident had been faked. The code seemed to have been such that it could be broken by Ford or his associate using existing clues. Evidence to this effect was discovered by Ford's biographer after he died in 1971. So they basically found
she could have very easily accidentally told someone, I was really hoping he'd say it this year. Say what?
Rosabelle believed. Yeah.
Or this was our favorite song. Blah, blah, blah.
Right. In 1936, after a last unsuccessful seance on the roof of the Knickerbocker Hotel, she put out the candle that she had kept burning beside a photograph of Houdini since his death. In 1943, Bess said that, quote, 10 years is long enough to wait for any man.
Ooh, Bess, yes.
So good.
Best Houdini confirmed.
Bess is awesome. That's just a great line. Now, the tale of Houdini's death is as intriguing as Houdini himself.
So you told me before we started, you were like, do you know how he died? And I was like, I thought I did. I don't know now.
While sitting in his dressing room in Montreal, Quebec, on the 22nd of October, 1926.
Good year.
Where he was lecturing, you remember it well, where he was lecturing about spiritualism, several students from McGill University asked Houdini if he could withstand a blow to the stomach. This was a challenge Houdini accepted.
Yes.
Before, he had done it before. This wasn't just like hey, can I punch you in the stomach? Like, this was an old act he had done before. Before he could prepare by tightening these stomach muscles, so what he would do is basically just, and he could take the punch, no matter how hard they punched, because he was ready for it. He was flexing. Before he could tighten his stomach muscles, however, one of the students, J. Gordon Whitehead, hit him 3 times in the stomach.
Well, and he's going to go down in history.
As the man who punched Houdini.
Who punched poor little fleshy Houdini right in his little bread box.
Houdini was built kind of strange. He was sort of short and stocky, but not. He was very proportionate for not being that tall. I don't know how tall he was, but he was he was just a short little
something that's I've never even considered what he looks like. I have no clue what Houdini looks like because in my mind he is this larger than life figure.
Yeah.
So in my mind he's just every magician. He's a caricature of a magician. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He's just the standard cartoon magician.
Yeah. He's not a specific. I don't think of him and get an image of what he looks like.
I'm trying to think of someone he looks like in popular culture. He looks like all the guys who played football when it was the Leatherhead days.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's kind of built, but not really. He's got a dad bod, even though he's 22. He's that kind of
he's
guy.
Kind of like a like an oval.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Or a trapezoid upside down.
Yeah.
Just kind of wide shoulders, small feet.
I think we're on the same page. Shapes-wise.
Houdini didn't know it, but his appendix ruptured. Although he recovered, this is the wild, I didn't know this. Although he recovered and performed shortly thereafter in Montreal and Detroit, he later fell ill from Streptococcus peritonitis, an inflammation of the abdominal cavity. So his appendix ruptured, his abdominal cavity tried to help out. Everything was just inflamed. Yeah. By the time Houdini saw a physician, he was beyond help. On October 31st, 1926, which is
Halloween.
Why she does it on Halloween, with his wife at his side, Houdini died.
He died on Halloween?
Yeah.
That's the most hardcore thing I've ever heard for a magician to die on Halloween. I thought he died in an alleyway. So the story that I've heard is he got punched, he got sucker punched, essentially, which is what happened.
No, I knew it was he messed up the magic.
Okay, so I had heard that they met him after a show. It was 2 dudes that were real big, and they were like, "We've heard you can do this." And he's like, "Go for it!" And they punched him and left him in an alleyway, and he died.
Nope,
that's not how it happened.
According
Debunked.
to the John Cox, the biographer, Bess leaned over and put her arms around him. His eyes, which had been closed, opened. He saw her tears. Then his eyes slowly closed again.
Oh, and then he died.
Yeah.
Aw.
Now, that's the story most people believe.
Oh, what? Oh.
I also believe the punching story, by the way. I'm not advocating for this side plot.
It's a twist.
While most people, including myself, believe that his death was the result of a stunt gone wrong, a small percentage of very passionate people believe that the spiritualist Houdini was so well known for going after poisoned him, causing the appendix inflammation. So because he was talking against spiritualism to a group of college students, and there were spiritualists there that were confirmed, like they were there for the talk, they think that people poisoned him.
Does poison affect your appendix, though?
Not in that way, but it's not confirmed. So it's not confirmed that he died of a ruptured appendix. It's confirmed that he died of the inflamed abdominal cavity. Which is usually caused by a ruptured appendix,
right?
And that's so it's and that's sort of the story that people.
Yeah.
So we know that he did the punching thing.
Mm-hmm.
We know that happened.
So they're saying he got punched, and then he also was poisoned,
or got punched while he was poisoned, or So they're saying the cause of death wasn't the punch; it was the poison.
It just also happened to happen.
Yes, I completely side with the side of logic, and I don't think people. I mean, even in that day, people didn't die of poisoning.
He got punched 3 times.
Yeah, like as hard as he could. Like the student was like, "I can punch you as hard as he."
You know that dude was definitely like, "I'm about to just go.
I'm about to wreck Houdini's guts." Yeah,
I'm gonna knock you. I'm gonna show you there's no such thing as magic. Punch, punch, punch.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
pop.
Why would you not? Honestly,
pop goes the appendix.
Oh, pop goes the Harry.
Oh.
Until Houdini died, SAM, the Society of American Magicians, had no real send-off methods. Since Houdini, who was president when he died, was such a prominent figure and put the organization on the map, the group chanted, "The curtain has at last been rung down, the wand is broken, God touched him with a wondrous gift, and our brother made use of it. Now the wand is broken."
His name was Harry Houdini.
Yeah, exactly.
His name was Harry Houdini.
This was the first time they'd ever done this. It felt like something, like they felt like they had to come up with something. This tradition is upheld today, which SAM really still exists, by the way. Like, there are chapters in Chicago and New York and all over the world.
Can you go to school to be a magician? Is that the... How does one become a magician?
You can go to, like...
Is it like clown school?
Yeah,
like, does
or
that
like
exist?
barber college or something where it's like this specific trade. It's not like an actual university, but it's like this specific trade. This is what you do. I mean, there are like magical institutions and stuff, which sounds awesome.
That sounds amazing.
Like magician school is a thing, yeah.
That sounds amazing.
But a lot of people
Harry Potter.
A lot of people are just self-trained. And then so I actually went to the Sam's website. I was like, I wonder if they're still a thing. Yeah. The website's actually not half bad for what it is. There's a thing, it's like, want to join SAM? Here's your local chapter. Want to find a magician for your event? Here's a list of people who are SAM certified. Yeah, it's like an actual like working
find a
union
magician.
thing. Yeah, it's really cool.
So cool.
And like Houdini was like the first notable member, but then like David Copperfield's a member of SAM.
Heck yeah.
David Blaine's a member of SAM. Like it is like the thing.
Not Chris Angel though. He does his own thing.
I actually didn't see Chris Angel, so I'm not sure.
He's too busy.
I don't even know if
He's too busy freaking minds.
Chris Angel, I don't want to go on a rant on Chris Angel. He's not a real magician.
I don't consider him a magician.
He's a prankster. I don't like him.
Granted, I know nothing about magicians from a very base level, but I don't consider him a magician.
Yeah, I don't like Chris Angel. He's
an illusionist.
Yeah, which is just a bullshit title.
An illusionist, which is just a person with a camera who can say, "Cut. Okay, now we're gonna pretend. We're gonna pretend that he's floating now. Yeah. Rolling."
So, funny thing, to bring it all back, actually, Robert Houdin was one of the first people outside of China, I know, weird sentence, to do a levitation act. So he had his youngest son stand up next to 2 stools, and then he was like, okay, now lift yourself up or whatever. So his feet would come up, but there were like 2 canes, or there was a cane on each stool.
Okay.
He was like lifting himself up on the canes, and they would remove one cane, and then they would remove the other cane, and then like he would tilt them on his pinky finger, I think. Robert Houdin would. So he'd be like laying sideways. Floating.
But he was actually on some...
I don't know what he was on. I assume he was on like some tripwires or something.
So that's a thing sometimes street performers do, where they look like they're sitting on their cane. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that? And they're just like supposed to be floating?
Yeah. And it's just like a rod running through their leg.
I don't know how they do it. It makes me
cool.
mad.
It's really cool.
I get real mad. See, you think it's cool, and then I get angry.
That they got you?
Yeah, because I don't like getting got. I don't like getting got. I want science. Let me know.
But it is science. That's the cool part. Like, it's explaining
It's science that I don't know. I don't understand it. And therefore, it makes me mad.
The tradition is upheld today of the chants. And Sam even pays the yearly fees on Houdini's grave plot as a sign of respect.
Is he buried in Wisconsin?
I'm not sure, actually. I don't know where he's buried. This is out of respect and a repayment of sorts, since Houdini notoriously did this for other magicians who passed when he was touring. Cool stuff. So he was like... He basically said, you know, I've made my living based on the work of other magicians, so it's only right that I pay for.
That's really cool. As far as we know, was he a good guy?
I think so. Yeah, it's hard to tell with people from this era, right?
Yeah.
Because like it's not the same as today.
Yeah.
But yeah, from all accounts, like he was very much involved in this organization that benefited from him being in it, and not the other way around.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Like he was with Scientific American, working with them a lot. Like. He had a lot of pursuits, and I think that was what he like just enjoyed doing was working and stuff. Because when he wasn't doing magic, he was flying or he was doing movies or whatever.
He seems like a good guy. I hope he was a good guy.
Yeah, me too. The last little bit about Houdini here, Houdini's props so when he died unexpectedly. Nobody expected him to die, obviously.
Yeah.
Houdini's props would go on to be used by Theo,
his brother,
who sold them to Sidney Radner, a magician and collector. Radner did the good guy move of exhibiting most of the collection at the Houdini Museum in Appleton, Wisconsin.
That's cool.
So he's like, I own this, but you guys can exhibit it. That is absolutely the right move. If you own anything cool, don't hog it, show it off.
Let everybody see it.
Yeah, because why not?
Yeah, it's not gonna enrich anybody's lives just sitting in your basement.
Right, exactly. Now in a sorry, I got ahead of myself. Until he exhibited at the Wisconsin Museum, until he auctioned them off in 2004.
Okay.
In a move befitting the wondrous outcome of Houdini's life, most of the props, including the original water torture cell, went to a small-time nobody magician named David Copperfield.
What?
So David Copperfield owns most of the Houdini props now.
How freaking cool, though.
I thought that was really neat. I was like, that's such a beautiful little bow.
Freaking cool, though. Because, I mean, I like David Copperfield fine.
He's all right.
I mean, I don't really have an opinion one way or the other, I think, about, like, TV magicians.
Yeah, I'm not
I don't
huge
really...
on the big scale. Of course, I love the small scale stuff. I'm not huge on, like, the quote-unquote smoke and mirrors magic.
Yeah, I'm gonna make an airplane disappear. And...
I'm gonna disappear this elephant. That's the one I always remember.
Yeah. I always think of elephants and the airplanes and a tank. I think they made a tank disappear and all that stuff. And, like, it transported it to Paris at one point or whatever. That's TV magic. Yeah,
it's too... I think at that point, it's something I've discovered I love in just any sort of medium or media is like the suspension of disbelief with wrestling, right? Of course, I know it's not real. I know it's scripted, but you can buy into it, and it's the fun of knowing that something else is going on behind the scenes. I think magic is the same way. So when it's on a smaller scale, I can suspend my disbelief of, oh man, this man made a card disappear.
Yeah.
But when it's like, oh, he made an elephant disappear, it's like, no way.
Yeah. I want my magic to make me believe in magic.
Right. I want to be like, oh.
Like, oh. What? Huh? Maybe that really did just happen. Yeah. But when you say, like, I made a tank disappear on television, it's like, no. You know
obviously that's fake.
You know how to yell cut.
Right.
Like, that's what you know how to do.
Yeah.
No. But, like, when I see people do it in real life, that's when I need to know how you did that.
That's the thing that frustrates me about David Blaine, is because I love the David Blaine specials that are just him and, like, a group of people.
Yeah.
Whether it's celebrities or just local people or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. And then he always has to do some big stunt at the end that he's teasing. Like, I don't care if you catch a bullet in your teeth.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Keep doing the card magic. It's way more interesting. And it's really fun to see the people react to it.
I don't care if you bury yourself underground for 10 days and live down there without any food or water. Like, that to me...
Good job.
That's not magic.
No.
What are you doing? What does that even mean? You went into stasis like a butterfly. Like, you've done nothing.
Right.
Like, I want to see you take a card and make it pop up behind my ear and it has my signature on it somehow.
Yeah,
like,
there's a $10 bill.
And yeah, that's what I want. Like, I want something like that. I think that stuff's cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Well, that's about all I have on
I
Houdini.
have learned a ton. So what I thought that I knew, so I knew, like, bits and pieces, but what I thought that I knew, you either, like, helped clarify or corrected. So I know the true story.
The true Dini.
The true Dini. Oh, God. Terrible.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
Twitch.tv/DormStreams. Where can people find you?
At my home, please don't. Or twitch.tv/TeamLidi.
Ah, it was a goof.
It was a
You
goof.
prepared a goof.
I had a goof prepared.
We're also on Twitter.
We're on YouTube.
Discord.
Oh, Snapchat. Instagram. No.
You can't say them both.
I tried to do
That's
two.
not how this works.
I tried to take two of them.
Not how that works.
Oof. We have shirts. We
Yeah.
have clothes.
Oh, very good.
We have clothes. He has a Patreon.
Yeah, a Patreon. That sounds like a Pokemon.
Become a
Or a
patron.
Digimon.
Become a patron. I like
Should
it.
do an episode about Digimon.
Digimon?
Digimon doesn't get any credit. Digimon was
Please do. Actually, you know what? Please do an episode on Digimon because I literally know nothing about
Cool.
it other than it's like the Kmart version of Pokemon.
No, it's not true. Digimon's
Well,
awesome.
prove me wrong because I literally don't know.
Okay. We'll do.
And then I'll teach you some more about murder or something. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
We'll see. I don't know. Until next time.
Watch where you click.
This is where we disappear in a cloud of smoke.
Oh, that's good. I'm going now.
I did it!
You did it. Perfect.